Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. And that community was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and that 7 figure level. So if that's you, definitely come check us out. Now, today I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community, Stephanie Ann Ball. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Awesome. Same here, same here. So, Stephanie, tell myself and the rest of the community, what is it that you do?
Yes, so I have a bit of an interesting story. I actually have two businesses. I am a high performance specialist, and so that means I work with creative minded people who are having trouble getting a grip on things like organization, productivity, managing focus and mindset, and all of those things that you need to actually move forward on your goals in a meaningful, efficient way. And my little kind of secret, I do a bit of a double life here. I'm actually also a professional opera singer, and my background is in music. So many of the tools that I use to teach my clients are things that I pulled directly from the stage.
What? You're a professional opera singer.
Yeah.
Love it. How long have you done that?
I have been singing professionally for 10 years now.
Hmm. That is cool. That is cool. Do you have any of your content on YouTube and
I do.
online?
Yes, I do. Yep, you can find me. You have to dig around a little bit. But yeah, there's a few things up there, and there's plenty of excerpts of me singing and performing on my website as well.
Yeah, cool stuff, cool stuff. So I guess the question is, so tell us about because right now you said you help, you're coaching as well too, right?
Mhm.
Now, what's the backstory with you before you got into the coaching side of things? What's that backstory?
Yes. Okay. So it actually is kind of a great story because most people kind of look at me and find out that I do these two different things that seem to be very unrelated, but actually they're totally related. And when I look back on all of the steps that I took to get to this point, it makes perfect sense. So when you decide that you want to go into classical music, there's a little pipeline that you wind up in. You get a bachelor's degree in vocal performance, and then you get a master's degree in vocal performance. And so the story is supposed to go, you finish your graduate work, you do a couple of apprenticeship programs, maybe you get an agent, and then poof, you have this wonderful career in classical music, which is how it goes for maybe 1%, 2% of the singers that come out of graduate school. And I was one of them. The system just did not work that way for me. So I found myself really struggling when I finished school, and I was stressed out all the time. I wasn't singing well. I didn't know how to network. I didn't know how to run my music business like an actual business. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that, someone somewhere would hear me and give me a job, and it totally wasn't working. So I was very fortunate to find an excellent mentor who she took one look at me, she heard me sing a couple of notes, and she said, okay, so all we got to do here is just make sure your voice is working better than it is now, and then put some actual practical skills in your pocket so you can stay focused and you can sing at a really elite level no matter what's going on in your life. We got to teach you how to actually market yourself. We need to get you some better time management skills so you can, excuse me, keep up your day job and also make sure you're learning your music by the deadline. And I got obsessed. I got obsessed with personal and professional development. And that's when things really started to get good. So I had, this was around 2014. I had a full performance calendar. I was singing all over the country. I had a packed voice studio. I was teaching 40 students at a time. And I was just feeling really good about everything. And it is very rare that someone can say, I make my entire living off of classical music. But I was able to do that using the skills that I learned. And then the funniest thing kind of happened. All these other people started asking me for help with their other endeavors, saying, how do you manage it all? How are you always so composed when you're in this thing that is like a lot of pressure when you have to sing in front of hundreds of thousands of people at once? How do you do it? And so I sat down and I looked at all of the steps that I took and all of the shifts that I had to make this happen. And I came up with my own system to teach it to other people. And that was that. Off to the races. So I started consulting and coaching about 3 years ago.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And it's always fascinating how in life we try to figure things out and we just don't figure it out. And then there's a mentor who just has all the answers, right? It's like,
Yes.
gotta do it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So I guess if we had to take basically everything the place where you are today in your life, your business, the success you've created for yourself, what would you say if you had to boil it down to maybe a couple of maybe two, three principles? What would you say those principles are?
Yeah, sure. So I actually, it's five. I teach five major points. And once you look at them all, they're all very simple. Um, the first one is you really have to get clear on what it is you want to do. What is your mission, your vision, your values? What are the things that you really hang your entire being on and the things that you can commit to doing in a meaningful way every day? Once you know that, it becomes so much easier to focus on the right things, say yes to the things that are important, say no to the things that aren't important, so you can actually gain more momentum without having so much other distracting stuff in the way. The second thing is you really have to understand how you work as an individual. I see a lot of people who teach organization and who teach, high performance and that kind of thing, treating it like it's a one size fits all kind of thing. And that's just not true. If you're, for example, if you're an extrovert like I am and you're sitting in your house by yourself all the day, trying to get a bunch of things done, it's not going to be as effective for you if you build in breaks to speak with other people and boost your energy reserves. So once you know how you tick, you can find all of these places that you can actually become more efficient and more productive. And having a really good system for organization and efficiency is critical to moving forward. Making sure you take really good care of yourself and focusing on your mindset and your spiritual well-being and your nutrition and your fitness, all of those things, because if you're not in good shape, then everything else is going to fall to the wayside eventually. And lastly, treating your relationships like they are very important because we're all in this together. Like I said, I wouldn't be here without a mentor. And if you give back to other people the way that they are pouring into you, then you start to see all of those things come full circle and you'll be unstoppable at that point.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So, and you narrowed it down to because I know in life, right, life is all those places where there's so much information, so much complexity all coming at us all at once. And we're like, how do I find my way and navigate my way through this
Right.
thing? How did you come up with your 5 step process? How did you create that?
So I asked a lot of questions to my clients about what kinds of things were the most challenging for them and the places that they were feeling stuck. I looked at myself and the things that really helped me make the biggest changes in my life and got me moving forward. And finally, I sat down and I put it all in a book. I said, okay, let me figure out how I can connect the dots from how I got to point A to point B, but also give people the most important bits of information. So even if you're not working with me, you can look at these 5 things and assess the areas of your life that they fall into and start to make those changes yourself.
Hmm. Okay, and oh, so you've written a book as well too?
Yes, I
What's,
have.
yeah, what's the name of it?
Yeah, so my book is called Own Your Light, Becoming Your Favorite Self So You Can Bring Your Best to the World. And I launched it earlier this summer, so it's still very new.
Yeah, awesome. So, how long did it take you to write?
It took me let's see. So I started writing it in October, and then the editing process started in March. That was the hardest bit for me. Like the creative stuff, that was a piece of cake. I was just writing every day, but when I actually got into the formatting and the rereading and the correcting, so that took several months, and it came out at the end of June.
Hmm. Awesome, good stuff. And where can people find this book?
Sure. So if you go to ownyourlightbook.com, you can get all the information there. You can actually pop your email address in and get the introduction if you'd like to read that and check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. And that'll take you right to Amazon so you know where to purchase it.
Awesome, good stuff. And I guess the next question becomes, what's that vision that you're currently building towards at the moment?
You know, I So I am so passionate about, I love working with creative people. So all those people that have a million ideas at once and aren't really sure where to start. But I feel like in our society, the creatives, the people who are creative and the people who really want to see a lot of innovation happen and make a huge impact on the planet in that way by all of their creative ideas, those are the people that really speak to me because I know what it's like to have big creative dreams, but not be able to put the pieces together yourself in a way that allows you to make it happen. So my vision is to reach all of these people through my coaching and my one-on-one work and even performances and speaking and help inspire them to be able to take action and connect the dots themselves so it all starts to ripple out.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. What about working with you? How does working with you look?
Oh, so if you want to work with me, I have a couple of different options. I have a really exciting group course that's coming out in October, and I also have some really excellent one-on-one packages that spotlight each of those areas that I mentioned, and we do a whole customized intensive so we can really dig into those areas and figure out how to make them work better for yourself. So if you're interested in working with me, honestly, the fastest way to get a hold of me these days is to just send me a message on Facebook.
Mhm.
And we can connect there and talk about how I can help you.
Yeah, Facebook is such a powerful tool. I know
Yes.
I started off using LinkedIn, but I haven't thinking about it now. I think most of my conversations are happening on Facebook now.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
mine
it's
too.
yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So I guess the question now becomes, in terms of your clients, your students, the individuals you work with, what are a few like core hurdles you keep seeing? Are there any common themes you keep seeing showing up over and over within their lives, their businesses, and where they are?
Yeah, for sure. The number one thing that people come to me struggling with is a sense of overwhelm. And I know we can all relate to that. It's just that just awful feeling of I have so much to do. I don't know how I'm going to get all this done. I don't know where I'm going to begin. This is impossible. I need 16 more hours in a day to accomplish any of this. That is the biggest challenge that people come to me with. And once you have some extra eyes on the problem, it becomes a lot easier to solve. I think that, when you're in the thick of it and you're kind of caught up in the emotions of everything, it's really challenging to get yourself out of that space of crushing overwhelm. But once you know the tools to do it whenever it comes up and kind of get ahead of it and put some strategies in place to make sure that you don't fully get there ever, it becomes much easier to deal with. So that's usually where I start is helping people find that clarity and find that flow in and out of all the activities they're doing so they can start to just be more effective and do whatever they can to stay out of that space entirely.
Right. So what do you think is that main culprit for overwhelm? What do you think triggers? Because I know it's just a battle a lot of individuals are
Yeah.
facing. What do you think is a trigger that really causes that?
I think these days, especially right now with everything that's going on globally, there's just this sense of, first of all, having to be on all the time, always having to be available for extra Zoom meetings and, being able to have people getting access to you via text message and social media. And if you're trying to work at home and take care of your kids and take care of your house and run your business, there's just like so much happening all the time. And not really a sense of when can I take a step back and when can I examine what is the most important, when do I want to have the most important thing done, and how can I do that in a way that gives me some space to breathe. So I think it's really this sense of just information and to-do list overload that is creating it for so many people, and there is a little bit of nuance to how to manage all of those different activities in a way that feels easier and more fun and more joyful.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Love it. And in from where you are right now, in terms of books wise, are there any books that's really help you on your journey? Do you have any favorite books?
Yes, I do. I love to read. I read all the time. Full stop. I actually haven't read since I started editing my own book. Just because I had to read that thing so many times trying to catch all the mistakes. So my brain needed a break. But let me think. So the most impactful book that I read in terms of my own work and my own creative journey was Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, because she talks about creativity in a way that just takes a lot of the pressure off and allows you to have all that room to let the inspiration find you while you are still doing other things. Because I know for creatives, sometimes we get caught up in having to rely so much on our art that it ends up cutting off all of the things that inspire us in the first place. So that book had some really wonderful tools in it to help move through those feelings and just let the creativity flow.
Yeah, good stuff. And morning routines, right? Because I know a lot of individuals, as one of the biggest things is saying, hey, you got to have a morning routine and an evening routine or some type of routine. Do you believe in that as well too?
Oh, 100%. That's one of the first things I teach.
Mhm.
In fact, I think that people talk more about morning routines, but I think that The evening routine is really where, the power is, because your evening routine is what sets your morning routine up. If you are going to bed feeling anxious about the things that you didn't get done, then you're not going to sleep well. And if you don't sleep well, then you're going to wake up and your morning routine is going to suffer because you're already going to be tired. So I think that the two really do have to work together. And there are so many activities that you can choose from. And it's actually really easy to put those two things together for yourself without them even having to take a long time. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, I don't have time to do that because I got to get my kids ready for school or what have you. But you can put together awesome morning and evening routines that take 5 minutes. It is so easy to do and it will change your whole day.
Yeah, awesome. So, do you have any type of maybe pieces of advice if someone is like, I've never really done a morning routine, I'd like to, but do you have any
Mhm.
kind of guiding principles you could share with them as far as where to start?
Yes, absolutely. Um, if you start to think about what kind of things make you feel really good, that's the best place to start. So just, grab a journal, grab a pen, and brainstorm what makes you feel energized, what makes you feel excited, what makes you feel inspired, and start simple. Pick one, maybe two, three things that really get you into that space. So, for example, if you're a person who likes to work out in the morning, do some stretches, have a glass of water so you're hydrated, and just move your body a little bit so you feel woken up. If you like to write, so if you wake up feeling inspired, go ahead and write in your journal. Maybe take a few minutes to read your favorite inspirational material. Whatever you do, do not look at social media or check your email first thing in the morning. Because that's the fastest way to just get pulled right out of that really calm, refreshed zone and start thinking about everything else that all these other people need from you. There's a time for that that will come later in the day when you are centered, but your first duty is to serve yourself well, because if you pour into yourself, then you can pour into others. So set yourself up by feeling really good, really inspired, really productive at the beginning of the day, and then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, social media and emails. Those
Don't
are-
do it. It's so tempting.
When you get into this black hole, it's like there's no getting out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Stephanie, in terms of if someone wanted to learn more about you, what you're about, and they really wanted to get in touch, maybe to find out more about your services and just how you could help them, what's the best way for them to be able to reach out and connect?
Yes. So if you want to reach out, get to know me a little bit better, you can always check out my website, stephanieannballconsulting.com. But you can also check me out on Facebook. Like I said, send me a DM. Stephanie Ball is my name. I'll comment below the video so you know where to find me. I love connecting with new people and getting to know folks and how I can be of service. So please don't be shy. I know it's sometimes hard to admit, particularly for a lot of women, that we're struggling in this area, but I promise I will not judge you if you reach out to me and say, hey, I need some help. I'm not doing so well with these things. Um, feel free to talk to me anytime.
Good stuff, good stuff. And guys, if you're watching this interview on the live or the replay, number one, leave us a comment below so that we know that you are tuning in. And the second thing is all the links Stephanie I just mentioned to get connected with her, whether it's the website or her just Facebook profile, they will either be above or below this video. So you can click and get connected right to her. Stephanie, hey, thank you so much for making the time to be here today and sharing what you do with the community. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. This really was a pleasure. And I look forward to getting to know everyone who's watching the video. So, as I said, if you are watching this, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I'm really struggling, I can't quite get it together, and I would love to go through a transformation that allows me to be more powerful and more productive and to have more fun with all of the things that I am trying to accomplish in my life, please reach out. I would love to help you. And I hope to talk to some of you some more soon.
Awesome, love it. Well, enjoy. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.